What's going on, people? Yeah, usually there's a big delay between when it said live and when it started like this actual counter thing. I don't know, StreamYard's weird sometimes, but looks like things are actually happening. So, anyways, this is a box of shoes, right? But you probably knew that from the description and the thumbnails and stuff. Sure, but it's a thing that I say just so we're all on the same page, right? I'm gonna get on into this real quick here, see what's going on with it. Hopefully things are fine, right? If they aren't, I mean, it kind of honestly does not matter because it's the same thing that I had before, right? Remember these right here? Yeah, it's just another pair of these. And obviously that'll be given away very much so by the thumbnail once I get that updated. So this should be like a finish line or a JD receipt, one or the other. Forget how that worked out. JD Sports. So, that's all that stuff, normal things you would see. Because that's where this pair came from, right? So I'm going to do this unboxing real quick for no real reason other than that it's just a thing that I do. But I will say, I did one of these a couple weeks ago at some point, still haven't done that review. And so the only thing that really makes this one any different is that this time around I do have the high or the mid or whatever the other Jordan 11 is considered, like the standard one, not the low version. Whatever that's called, I have the bred version of it as well. So I'm going to bring those out today because I figure if I'm going to do this again, it may as well be at least worth it. Some kind of different to it. So let's see here, make sure everything looks like it's supposed to look first and foremost. I mean, it's a little dirty on the side here, but that's kind of a thing that just happens from time to time. Not a big deal. Probably just stuff from the box. So nothing that I'm going to be too concerned about. It's a little, I don't know what's going on the bottom there. I don't even know if it's really going to show up. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Down there on the back piece, like right here, just above where my thumb is. I don't know what that's all about, but I could do without it. But I mean, it's on the bottom, and once you wear them, like the bottom looks kind of bad anyway. So what's the matter? Nothing. It doesn't. So, anyways, this right here, we all know what this is, but I gotta say it. This is the Jordan 11 Low in the bred colorway, right? So you may have, wait, there it is. Bred is high. Bred is best high 11, cool gray, best low 11. Okay, so apparently they are highs, not mids. I was honestly not sure because I don't pay that close attention to certain things. But if this person is saying it out here on the internet, obviously it is meant to be taken as fact, and I'm going to take it that way. So thank you very much, D5, for that piece of information. Now, where I was going with the seconds ago, this right here, Jordan 11 Low, bred colorway, right? You've seen it before. We're going to see it real quick again down there across the bottom. See, that's what's going on down there, a little bit of that carbon and whatnot. I'm a running guy, so that can be pretty nice for running shoes. On these, I don't know how much it really played into things. Moving on up here, midsole, right? White, red, on the inside, you got a little bit of the carbon peeking through right about there. Otherwise, it's very much the same. Then you get onto this here upper and whatnot. You got the plastic. It's not plastic. The patent leather down around the side, right? It's kind of one of the big things that people always notice about these. So you got that happening. Looks very cool, at least to me. Going up a little bit higher, you got the ballistic mesh stuff, right? It's not quite focusing, but hey, you've probably seen these a million times, so you don't need me to tell you what's going on here. We're going to move on into the middle side, the tongue there, right? So same thing before, all that stuff that you've seen a million times. So far, things are looking good. I do appreciate that. Onto the back side. Back there, you got a little bit happening, right? Because you got the jump man, and it's going to be like a little stitched on red guy on some black leather. So it's kind of a nice touch. And then at the top, you got some sort of material, cotton, maybe not cotton, but I don't know, could be, almost feels smooth like nylon and neoprene type things, but it's not that. But whatever it is, it's a 2-3 at the top, right? So there you go. There's the visual for the most part. Down on the inside, not a whole lot happening, but we're going to talk about it because that's how reviews work. So you got this Nike Air thing, and you kind of saw down in there, you got a little bit of this paper. These Jordan 11s and various other things, they don't come cheap, right? So it kind of sucks that they just put paper in there. I feel like you should get a little bit more presentation-wise, I mean, they used to give you like a high price point, and they give you a fancy box with it, like little slide out style, which was a lot to deal with, but it was very cool presentation wise. You get like some sort of colored plastic shoe tree that matched either the box or the shoe, something. Now it's all just whatever, give us a bunch of money and you're going to get what we give you. and I'm not super appreciative of that, but whatever. I mean, I still bought them knowing this going into it, so can't complain. I'm just doing this of my own volunteering. So either way, the Jordan 11 bred low, that's what this is looking like. Let's go ahead and pull out this high one, which I heard is the best. So this one came from, I guess it was a Foot Locker thing, because like they're the only ones that put these little like labels on there saying like when you win the raffle, like whose shoe it is or whatever. So if I recall correctly, because this was late 2019, I won these at the mall in Virginia Beach. So it was either Foot Locker or Foot Action. There's no actual receipt in here. There's this, but this does not help with me finding out like where I actually bought these things. So anyways, I do remember that pretty clearly though, because when I was leaving the mall, I didn't pick up the pair from, well, no, I must pick them up from Foot Action, because when I was leaving the mall, some of you guys might know Bullet RC. He's like a YouTube guy, or at least he used to be. I don't know if he still is or not. But either way, I saw Bullet RC at the Foot Action waiting in line to see if there were like extra pairs or whatever. I remember thinking to myself after the fact, I was like, oh, I could have told him that I have a pair that I could pick up from the other store. But, it kind of slipped my mind or whatever, because I was just like, oh, look, it's that guy that I somewhat know from the internet. He's super famous, like way more big of a following than I have, but whatever. I'm not really in this for the following and stuff. If you've seen the channel, you're very much aware of that. I'm gonna use this one because so I can do this opposite wise. Anyway, so past the reminiscing about things that happened 6 years ago. Yeah, that's forever. So this one right here, the high one. This one right here, the low one. How can you tell? It's obvious. Don't ask stupid questions. So here's the thing, right? To me, this is the first time I've actually seen these both side by side. It almost seems like the leather, the patent leather on this one comes up a little bit higher than on the high one, which is kind of weird to me, because I would just imagine that everything would just be like more on this one, but that doesn't seem to be the case. At least not on the very back piece. But it could just be my mind playing tricks on me. It's a thing that happens. So otherwise, everything is looking very much the same for the most part. On the bottom here, let's go ahead and look down there. You do have like this one, again, being the high one. You have white down there, whereas this one was all blacked out. So that's what's going on down there, right? Otherwise, it's pretty much looking the same. And right off of that, I will say I prefer this overall, because like this white just seems a little off. I don't know. Maybe that's how they've always been. Again, I'm not like a Jordan guy that followed anything he did years ago, so I can't sit here and talk about all that stuff. I'm just going by like how I feel about things, right? Otherwise, everything's pretty much lining up to be the same. This one has the Jumpman on the very back. This one has it kind of like slightly off to the side. And down there on the inside, that's not going to quite focus if I don't have it on the right side anyways. You can't even see in there, because maybe it's because of the glare of the sun or something. But either way, and I can't reach the thing to close that. But either way, it just says Nike Air down there on the inside. And one thing, like I was saying before, see when I'm saying by like plastic shoe trees, right? These one right here were like pretty nice, right? It's got this like sturdy plastic. Hear that? Yeah, sturdy and nice, right? On the inside of this, it's just going to be some paper. So I do like that. And you might be wondering, like, yeah, have you not worn those, or just like not worn them very often? I have not worn these. I don't wear Jordan 11s very often. And honestly, up until, what was that white pair that came out? It's like white with like some kind of like light blue. I don't know. It was like a couple months ago. Up until around that time frame, I hadn't worn a pair of Jordan 11 since like mid 2018 or something. Not that I have anything against them. I mean, I've been buying them, just hadn't been wearing them. It's kind of like in the back of my mind when I think about shoes that I'm going to put on for the day. Because it's just, I'm more of a running shoe kind of guy. I guess that's kind of obvious. I'm more of a running shoe kind of guy, so I wear a lot of that stuff, not so much of this stuff. But because of that is why I do personally prefer lows over highs. So this one right here, in my opinion, is the better one. If I had to choose only one, I would choose this one. But the way life works, I didn't have to make that choice, so that's why I have both of them. And I will say, if this one came out first, would I have still gone after the high one? I mean, probably, just because like I'd be like, oh, I have the low one, may as well get the other one. But it would certainly be a significantly lower priority. And backing things up just to how I got these, I kind of glossed over it. Like I said, this pair came from JD Sports, right? They sent out the whole early access thing on Wednesday morning. I stayed at home that day for a while, went into work late, just so I didn't miss it. So I got them that way. And then this other one came through a Foot Locker raffle, so I was able to pick those up in person. So that just kind of helped, because I was like, oh, maybe if I want to get this review out there early, like if I pick them up in person, that'll make that doable. And as you can see, that is not at all what happened. I have still not done this review. I've recorded all of the extra footage and I've taken all the photos and stuff. All that is done. I just need to do the actual review. And I wrote out my schedule this morning, so that should be happening tomorrow. That's the plan, is to do that tomorrow. What happened? I'll let you know tomorrow night, right? Anyways, so let's see the Columbia. That's what it was. The Columbias, yes. Because I remember when they were coming out like a couple months ago, they had a different name, because it wasn't Columbia. It was some kind of blue or something. I don't know. But yeah, then I saw like they were like the same thing, and I was like, okay, this is weird to me. Like, why did they change the name? Because like I'd heard Columbia years ago, but then when this was coming around, I think it might have had another thing. Something else did that recently. Like I think it was like a foam posit kind of did the same thing. But either way, whatever. So appreciate you jumping in there, filling in the blanks. Like, see, you should be like a YouTube person because you seem to know stuff, right? Legend Blue. See, again, this guy, D5. Let's go ahead and put that on the screen. That guy, he knows some stuff, and I'm just over here fumbling with boxes, trying to remember what shoes are called. Not doing either thing particularly well. But, it is what it is. People still tune in and watch. So, I don't know. Maybe that's pity watches, Like, I feel sorry for this guy. I'll watch a few videos just to make him feel better. If that's what you're doing, I do appreciate it, though. Okay. There's probably a better way to get into this, but, what's done is done. And then someone is saying, Kayano 31, Rich Navy. I would guess not. I mean, I don't even know what that is, like Rich Navy. So no, I don't. But if you're asking, you may have seen that I have other Kayano reviews, and you probably know that I am done with that. All right, 31s anyways. So coming in from Ami, switching things over just a little bit. Haha, no, bro, I love your content. You're very consistent. I try to be, because that's one of the things that they say you should do, right? Switching gears just a little bit. The shoe stuff is over for now, right? I might gloss back over those things at the very end, but right now I had an unboxing to also do from Ami, which let me show you that real quick in case that didn't make any sense when I first said it. AMI, right? So for them, it's one of those Japanese retailers, right? I buy certain action figures that are best bought from Japan, right? Because for one, when you buy stuff like this stateside, there's a bit of a markup. So usually, spending a good bit more per figure. So I figure I'll just buy these both straight from Japan. I get them for like a pretty decent price right off the top. And even with like the super expensive shipping, it still comes out cheaper than if I bought these from like Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth or anything like that. So just something to think about. It also applies to like Mayfex. These are amazing Yamaguchi. But if you are a Mayfex person, that's something to consider from them as well. And SH Figure Arts, that would be one too. Yeah. Anyway, so these right here got a couple of Deadpool figures in, right? Which actually kind of goes hand in hand with the shoes because, he's usually in black and red also, much like the Jordan 11 bred. And there across the back, that's what's going on. I'm guessing he's got like some extra heads or something because he's got these hard eyes and stuff. So that's what's going on there, right? Pretty much like your standard sort of stuff. Where'd that knife go? And then the other one is the exact same, but in the X Factor, X Force colorway, if you want to call it that. I always have to stop and think, like with X Factor and X Force, you know. X Force was the one that, like, you know, they had like Wolverine and a lot of killing type people, right? X Factor, you know, multiple man, strong guy, Polaris, Richter, you know. Yeah, and there it is, right there at the top. See, there you go. That one up in the middle, the hard eyes. Also, if you've seen them or haven't, if you haven't seen the movie Hard Eyes, I would recommend it. It's probably free on all kinds of things right about now. A whole mess of guns and knives and all this stuff, some extra hands, some swords over here, some size up at the top, right? So you get a lot of extra things with these. I think I spent like 70, like when I did the conversion, it ended up being like $70 per figure, right? And then something for shipping. But the shipping, you figure that out once they get it in stock, and then they send you an invoice, and you just pick which shipping method you want. The cheapest being something that arrives in like a month, maybe 2 months. The most expensive being something that arrives in like a couple days, right? I usually go with the one that arrives in a couple days because I'm not in a hurry, but I figure, you know what, I'm still saving money going this route, so let's go all out. Let's use the $20 one. Get this by the end of the week. So yeah, that's what's going on here, right? Basically the same thing as any other Deadpool figure, but with a lot more stuff. They also look a little bit more robust, right? And so then this one, I'm not going to open it right now because I don't feel like it, but it's basically the same thing. Again, just going to be in black and gray, which in some ways I do like this color more on certain Deadpool figures. I also have an X Factor Archangel coming in, or X Force Archangel coming in at some point. Don't know when that's going to be happening. Let's see. And that seems to be all the questions in there, which is cool. All right, so here's the thing, right? I'm going to go back over these shoes real quick, do that whole highlight thing that I often do, talk about what I talked about already. If you guys out there that have me watching this have any questions you want to throw my way, this is going to be your time to do it. Because otherwise, once I finish that, I'm going to close this thing up, do my normal outro type stuff, and move on and do something. I don't know what I'm going to be doing after this, but something else that's not this, obviously. Just got back from running and stuff, so I kind of want to just sit around and do nothing for a bit, right? It's a thing, right? Maybe some of you guys want to do the same thing. I mean, it's Sunday morning in a lot of places. So your countdown starts now. This is what we kick things off with, people. This is the Bred 11 Low, right? It's not as good as the Bred 11 High. Bred 11 High right here, right? So there you go. The best the best Jordan 11 is the cool gray, which I don't have. I'm very sure I don't. I think the one that I got was like the high version. I feel like it was the high version. Anyway, so this right here, picked these up from JD Sports, got the early access thing that often goes out on Wednesdays in the morning around 9 Virginia time, right? So keep an eye on your email if you're a JD or Finish Line kind of guy. If there's a weekend release, that's often when you'll hear about it, except for this past week. I got that notification on Friday morning for those blue and white ones. I did not get it. I could have. I had plenty of time. They were right there readily available for me for a long while. I just did not want them. Anyway, so this right here, this is the low version. Everything's looking pretty good. I'm a big fan of the lows. I prefer them over highs because they remind me more of like the types of shoes I like wearing, whereas highs just kind of feel a little bit weird on me. And also, I'll give these the edge as well because I'm not a huge fan of that white down there, whereas over here it's black. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much the same. So there you go. I will, hopefully, if all goes according to plan, be recording this review in the morning. And I already have everything else, so really after that, all I have to do is edit it. However, you will not see this review until after the Adidas Evo SL in the black and lucid lemon colorway, because I do my reviews in the order in which I bought the shoes. So there you go, a little bit of extra information for you from me. So there's gonna be that, right? And I don't see any favorite anime. Okay, that's a question. See, I don't do anime. Let's put that on the screen real quick. I don't do anime, right? It's a weird thing to me. I just never was able to get it truly into it. When I was in high school, I did watch I graduated in 2000, right? So this was a while ago. When I was in high school, I did watch a little bit of Dragon Ball Z because it came on after school, and I would just watch that because some of my friends from school watched it and it'd give us something to talk about. But after that era kind of ended, it's not like I went back to it or anything like that. I have a special colored San Diego Comic Con Vegeta somewhere around here, and a Piccolo also from SH Figure Arts. But yeah, otherwise I don't do anime. It just looks weird, and it's a lot going on, like it's a lot going on. So I don't have one. That's the short version of that. But there you go. So I guess that concludes the Q&A session of this particular live. Sometimes these things go forever, sometimes they don't. So there we go. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I will add this, though. There was an anime sort of episode of Love, Death, and Robots, the Netflix show. That wasn't too bad. But every time I see like Cartoon Network advertising like animes and stuff, it's always just like, I don't want to watch this. Just put on American Dad, please. Yeah. So either way, there's another little bit of information for you. But anyways, like I said, got some stuff hopefully coming up, so I should be caught up on reviews this week. And then after that, it's a bunch of performance review follow-up type things on running shoes. So if that's the thing you're into, look forward to that. If that's the thing you don't care about, well, then don't care about it. That's fine with me too. All right, thanks for showing up. I do appreciate it. There's a lot of other stuff you can go do with the rest of your day that probably will be a little bit more productive than this and just a better use of your time overall. But I do appreciate you being here. So there is that. All right, later, people.